This is Ezekiel James Hampton, and you're listening to The Loud Spot with Sebastian.
Oh no! Oh boy! Here it comes! The motherfucking Loud Spot! That's right, you're listening to the almighty Hot Zone! Doing the intro to the Loud Spot podcast! You're goddamn right! We're doing intros for podcasts now! And if you don't like it, you can suck the entire circumference of my Wayne Tretzky with the squeals and the drops! P1E goes hard till it pops! Cannonball, don't trust a cop! Johnny Spotswood just don't know when to stop! Yeah! And if you don't like it, you better take your ass up to the snooty box, cause this is the Loud Spot! Okay, see you later.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Loud Spot. I'm your host, Sebastian Cosby, right out of Oklahoma City. Tonight, I am hanging out with Skylight Motion Picture. We got Ezekiel Hampton, all the way from the East Bay area. What is up, my brother?
What's going on, good sir?
Dude, your guys' band, so I'm trying to get into some different music on this podcast, and you guys definitely bring a different style of music to the podcast. So, what is your guys' band about? What do you guys represent?
I don't know if we represent anything other than our desire to express ourselves and play music, but I would say that we're, like a cinematic pop band. We got a lot of influences from bands from the 80s, but also a lot of kind of ambient and sort of lo-fi electronic, all kinds of genres that we love that we try to make in a pop music format.
Very atmospheric music, right? Is that fair to say?
So. Yeah.
And how long have you guys been together?
We first started a few years ago. It was myself, Lamar Engel, who played bass and sang lead vocals, and Joel Quigley played drums. Jordan Schaefer came in on drums at some point, and also he plays everything, so he also sings, and he came on board. And then Clarissa Puente came in, and she also sings. So we've kind of had a few folks coming in.
What is this album that you sent me? You sent me 4 songs from the album. When did this album come out? Was it February?
Yeah, February this year.
And the name of the album is The Sonic Relocation and Transformative Reverberation of the Spirit. Is that right?
The sonic relocation and transformational reverberation of the spirit.
Okay.
It's a mouthful.
It is. Well, your songs, we talked about this earlier. I normally don't like super long songs on the podcast because it's a 45-minute podcast. But the length of your songs kind of fit this particular album's style of what you guys are going with. I think it's fitting.
Yeah, thank you. It's interesting to see that, because I know when the new album comes out next year, which is going to have a very different sound, but also the tracks are kind of more closer to that 3 to 4 minute mark, which I think most people appreciate. But this definitely has kind of more of a spacier and, as you said, atmospheric vibe to it. So I feel like because of that, it sort of lends it to be able to go on a little bit longer.
When you were writing these songs, even though one of them's almost 7 minutes long, were you like, well, it's really long, but it's fitting, so we're going to go ahead and do it anyway?
I would say that's fair to say. In a lot of ways, I'm kind of like a chef that overspices. And maybe I'm a little bit of a hoarder as well, because if I like all the ideas, it's hard to give them up sometimes. And looking back, I feel like there might be some things I might change, but I like the idea of a song kind of taking you on a journey, and not necessarily not feeling like there's any cliches or, okay, we had a verse and a chorus and then we got to do another verse. I kind of want to let it just sort of be whatever feels right in the moment.
I think a lot of artists, if they weren't produced or had certain they knew they had to keep it under a certain time, especially for rock songs. I think a lot of artists, when they're writing a song, they always come up with a new idea that'll fit that, and so then they want to keep it because it's a great idea. and they don't necessarily want to take it out. But like I said, it's fitting for what you guys are doing and your style. The first song I want to play is Spy Blown Mind. All your songs really have a catchy, they're a little bit different in style, but they all have a very, like the lyrics and the way the vocals are and the music, and that you're a monster musician with all kinds of things that you do. And we're going to talk about that, but let's play Spy Blown Mind right now and then get into who's in the band and what's going on with your production.
Look what you done now, you got me started. Why can't you show me? Turn up the lights and then we say goodnight.
What have you done now? You got me started. Dude, that's like really catchy, man. I love it. I love it. So you pretty much are, without being a one-man band, you pretty much do all the production to the music and then include other musicians, right?
Yeah, I would say I've been, since the inception of the bands, the person, I would, I write the music, most of the songs and lyrics, but we've had sort of different incarnations as well. So when we started out, it was maybe a bit more collaborative, and then as people have gone on to other projects, I will always keep this project going. So right now I am a band of one, but I'm looking forward to hopefully expanding that in the near future.
And so everyone knows about Ezekiel and mine's relationship. I know him. He graduated 1 year less than I did from the same high school in Vacaville, California, and I've talked about this on the podcast before, so some of my regulars will know that's where I'm from. And there's the music influence as well. And I know that the music influence in the time that we grew up has just kind of resonated in all of our souls from that time frame.
It was huge. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we've definitely talked about it. I wish that there was something that was still there in Vacaville that was able to be such strong of a force, because we have the Three Oaks Community Center, a lot of famous bands played in Vacaville. Papa Roach came out of Vacaville, and it was all in that time. Like, I was in my first band ever at the time that Papa Roach got huge. So I'm just like thinking, we're going to be the next ones to be signed by DreamWorks. But it was such a thriving music scene, and I definitely credit that to me wanting to be involved. And I know you were involved. I remember seeing you at shows all the time, and it's just such a shame that ever since that got shut down, there's never been anything there for people to sort of kind of call their own.
I think it's kind of hard to recreate, though. So it's like you have movies, and then they make the same movie later, 20 years later, the remake of whatever movie. You're kind of a big movie guy, but it's never the same as the original. And I think right now it's too early to recreate that kind of music scene. But also the music scene's changed. It's not the same as it was. Like, you dropped this album in February. I'll tell you, most of these really big artists, they're dropping singles. Your style of music is different, so you can probably pull that off, but there's not that same, because everything's streaming now. You don't go to the CD warehouse and buy a $12 Sugar Ray album. You go on Spotify or Apple Music or YouTube even, and you play a song. And
that's and I personally have a hard time adjusting that, because that's not how I don't listen to the music that way myself, and it's hard for me to picture here's a song, especially when you have in mind a body of smaller moving parts that work together like a body. You know what I mean? You have your legs and your arms, and they all work together as one unit. So to me, I approach albums and music the same way. So I'm a little old school that way.
I feel the same. So when I buy songs, I really like to hear the whole album, or at least an EP or something like that. And back in the day, it was you would drop an EP, and then if you got big, you would drop a whole album. Now it's just single, and kind of see what sticks. And I guess it's just the time. We can't be old men about it. We got to go with what the times are doing, right?
Exactly. Your damn kids and your music. My day.
So when you guys play concerts, because your style is very different, musically, it's not, I would say you can't really just find all kinds of bands that sound exactly like you guys' sound, like your sound. I do know another band, a couple bands, but they're not near where you live. Is it hard to find who you're going to play with, and who will allow you to play with them, being maybe you can't play with all these heavy metal bands, but you don't really fit into obviously not like a rap type group. So who do you try to find to do a concert with?
Well, so when we were playing shows, it was often us connecting with groups from Oakland, San Francisco, that area, because the electronic music scene, the synth. A lot of the like synth heavy music, a lot of stuff. It's huge out there. There's a whole synthwave scene. And so fortunately, when we've had a couple of shows, we've been able to bring some really talented artists out towards where I'm at in Napa. But it does make it challenging because the smaller music scene that is around us, it's, like I would say like a lot of places where you got a lot of like jam bands and
gotcha.
Not a ton of like super niche kind of genres.
That makes sense. So you live in Napa right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess in Napa you'd have a bigger pool to draw from, especially kind of being not that far from San Francisco. I would assume there's a lot more of this kind of style or similar other bands you could play with in San Francisco and not like the Sacramento scene would maybe be a little bit harder.
It's definitely there. I know in Sacramento, but I would say, but it's just at a smaller level. San Francisco and Oakland, always great hubs. Sacramento's always been, and you know this too, like it's great bands come out of Sacramento all the time. But I probably, it's just on a smaller scale compared to like San Francisco and the Bay Area.
It absolutely is. Let's play Rain Dance right now, and then we're going to talk about it. Zeke, man, thanks for being on the Loud Spot. Skylight Motion Picture. I love the sound. I'm happy that you were able to do this podcast as we're trying to promote different kinds of music, different kinds of styles. I want to include, if I like it, I want to include it on the podcast. Right now, here is Rain Dance, Skylight Motion Picture. Yep, man. Both those songs I just played are killer songs. As a drummer, I can appreciate the off beat, like the off rhythm that song has, because that's hard to write stuff like that. It really is.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I love songs that do similar things where they kind of change up the time signature in the middle of a song. But I got to give props to our drummer, Jordan, because I kind of had a clunkier version, and he smoothed it out to where it kind of had more of this 4 on the floor, like chill beat. And it's one of my favorite parts of the album, is just when all of a sudden it goes into that little part.
That is so cool. When is your next album? When are you thinking that's coming out? And what kind of, you said it was a different style. When's it coming out? Are you already writing music for it? And who are some of your influences in that album?
Well, I always have like 4 or 5 projects like ahead of time in mind. So,
right.
Yeah, but I would say this next album, it's going to be stylistically a little bit different. It's kind of a bit more of a tribute to a lot of the music that I listened to in high school and in college, and kind of had a sort of more of I like to call it like a gentle sounding bedroom pop. It's kind of got a romantic but a kind of melancholy vibe to it. Groups like the Postal Service, Anchor and Braille, Jimmy Eat World, Death Cab for Cutie. So, rather than having it be a lot of synths and kind of atmosphere, there's flutes, bells, pianos, strings, and lots of harmonies, of course.
That's going to be awesome, man. So when you do that album, I definitely want you to send it my way. I don't want to have you on again. Let's do it like the day before maybe the album drops, or maybe the day of, or something like that. Like, let me know in advance, because I get booked out. So let me know when you feel like it's going to be, so I can put like a question mark on my calendar for it.
Yeah, no, sounds good. I got pretty much all the songs are wrapped up production-wise. I just got a little bit of some tinkering around before I send it to get mixed and mastered. So I might go to the same guy who did my last album. Actually, was the drummer from OK Go. Mixed and mastered half the album, so I may go to him again, and he's a good guy to work with.
Awesome, man. I'm happy that we've been friends on Facebook for a while, and I've had like several Facebook accounts, I know. And I keep on adding you on all my different accounts. So I don't know if you've realized that or not. I've sent you like 3 friend requests over the course of a few years, I think. So this one's a keeper, though. This one's about the podcast. I'm
always delighted every time I see you, because then it's like, oh, it's good old Sebastian.
I'm back on Facebook. So No Control. We're gonna play that song, and then we're gonna go into Catching the Crow, the almost 7-minute song. So that's what happens sometimes. You write 7-minute songs. Let's go to No Control, but I also want to talk about all the little trinkets in your background over there. So here is No Control right now. Please check out Skylight Motion Picture. Zeke, you are awesome, man. Thanks for being on the podcast once again. Here we go.
Fade
definitely the most groovy song you have out of the other songs that we've played. What would you say this song reminds you of, like visually?
Yeah, visually, this I think of like illegal street racing, like at night, and people in leather jackets and shades, and like walking with like really cool hair, just kind of flipping, like bobbing up and down. Yeah, definitely like this like nighttime synthwave type of vibe.
I think that's cool and in all your songs you played, we kind of talked, you always have like a visual image of what that song reminds you of. And that's kind of neat to talk about. I guess everyone probably has that, but they never talked about it before, to me anyways. And so talking about it with you outside of playing your music on the podcast that we didn't talk about on the actual show, but personally, I think it's really cool that you have that and that you talked about it. It's really neat. Every single one of your songs has kind of a different feel or different kind of scene or vibe that you want to put with it.
Well, Sebastian, you hit the nail on the head because I'm a movie fanatic. But I also, I love, when I think about music that I've loved and that's, it has an imprint on me from when I was a kid, I always think of it, how it works as a score. So even, it doesn't matter what kind of music I'm doing, anytime I'm thinking of music, there's always a visual component to it. And I'm sure it's tied to my love of films and also tied to dreams. I'm very into dreams. I used to try to be an avid lucid dreamer, and this idea of how that, any kind of art where you use all your senses, it tends to be more powerful, at least in my case, which is why I love films, because all these artists coming together to tell a story. So
that is very cool. And what's also very awesome is all the little trinkets you have around you, the little instruments that you have. So name every instrument in your room right now. What do you have there?
Well, oh gosh, I have a few keyboards. I got a guitar. I have this guy's fun. I play this on all 4 songs that you feature tonight. I play the Artiphon one. It's like a MIDI controller, but you can use it as a violin, which I don't play violin, so I don't do that. I use it for guitar. You play guitar. You can use it as a drum machine, keyboard. I play on Slide Below Mine, the Suzuki Q chord. This is great. It's like an electronic auto harp. You just kind of press the keys and then sort of strum with your other hand.
Where do you buy that at?
Online, mostly.
That I've never seen that at Guitar Center. Maybe it's there. I've never seen it there. I don't know.
Yeah, they probably don't have it there, but I got a bass guitar.
You got a flute? You got a flute thingy, right?
No, I have a little, the old classic little Irish tin whistle. Which is, you never know when you might need one. This is kind of more of an obscure one. I have an electronic tambura. I love classical Indian music, and so this kind of anytime I want to get something real drone, like a real drone sound, really good for a lot of intros and interludes. You kind of just it's got a little keyboard. You just set the key and you kind of turn some knobs. It's pretty fun.
That's awesome. Look, dude.
Yeah. You got that, and then I have, I'm just kind of sort of holding on to this for a while, but I have a hammered dulcimer, which is another zither instrument, which I love.
Very, very cool instruments that you can tell you do production with all the little instruments you have around there. A lot of not normal instruments that people normally don't have. Look, I want to play Catching the Crow right now before we end the podcast because this song is very, very, very catchy. Let's play it right now, dude. Here we go.
Comatose, a ministry of lethal dose. What have we done to inherit chains of pain remains in vain? A mystery, a grandiose with trickery we diagnose. Ever the same, we cherish uniformity to proceed. You and I, day and night, fight or flight until we die. Sweetest sin, begin again, joining in this requiem. Dire, free from the fire, wilting wire, solo I go, catching the crow with knife in tow. Dire, free from the fire, wilting wire, solo I go, catching the crow with knife in tow. No, I won't be part of this in any way. Born underneath the soil in the grave. I won't be part of this in any way. Born underneath the soil in the grave. No. The symmetry of golden noose, repeated plays have come unnoticed. Shaking the trees we banish, leave a family disease. A sentiment once brilliant, still on the mend, become unbent. Rooting the seeds of sorrow, burn the dross we find in our loss. You and I, day and night, fight or flight until we die. Sweetest sin, begin again, joining in this requiem. Dire, free from the fire, wilting wire, solo I go, catching the crow with knife in tow. Dire, free from the fire, wilting wire, solo I go, catching the crow with knife in tow. No, I won't be part of this in any way. Born underneath the soil in the grave. I won't be part of this in any way. Born underneath the soil in the grave. No.
Live just for yourself, and that makes you not fit to live with. Dire, free from the fire, wilting wire, solo I go, catching the crow with knife in tow. Dire, free from the fire, wilting wire, solo I go, catching the crow with knife in tow. No, I won't be part of this in any way. Born underneath the soil in the grave. I won't be part of this in any way. Born underneath the soil in the grave. Dire,
There we go, man. Even though it was a 7-minute song, I think it was a 7-minute song that was worth listening to. I really mean that. I don't ever say that to anybody else, and I may harp on you for having a 7-minute song, but my honest opinion, I like that. I like the intro. I like the words. I like the music. And I think it was worth 7 minutes. In my honest opinion, it was worth 7 minutes. I want to ask you a question. If someone listens to my podcast, they want to check you guys out, where can they go check out Skylight Motion Picture?
Thanks, man. Part of the easiest place to go to is skylightmotionpicture.com. We got the hubs for all of our other platforms out there. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp. We're on Pandora. So where anyone would get any of the other music, you can find us.
Your music video for Spy Blown Mind is a really funny, entertaining music video. I recommend people going to their website. You can download all their music. You can at least play it. Can you download? You can play it for sure. You can play the music. Can you download it also?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you can listen to it, and you can watch their music videos on there. And it's a way to keep up with what you guys are doing. And I'm really, I can't emphasize enough how much I am looking forward to your next album, especially with some influences like the Postal Service. You know, everyone knows this as a punk and metal podcast, but the Postal Service is another band that I listen to. Because I like, if it's good, I like it, you know? And so kudos to you for doing something a little bit different and experimental.
Yeah, and all these guys, too, that they ended up kind of doing some more, softer, poppier music. They all started out in hardcore bands or punk bands before. So,
that's true.
Everyone's songs there,
That's true. Real quick, favorite band you've ever played with on stage?
A lot of good ones, but number one has to be Dredge.
Dredge. That is an awesome band. People need to go check them out. Look, Zeke, we got to get out of here. Ezekiel Hampton with Skylight Motion Picture. Thanks to all my listeners for listening to the podcast. If you have music like this and you want to be on the podcast, come check it out. Come check me out. The Loud Spot on Facebook, and maybe we'll get you guys on if I like it enough. Peace out, everybody. Thanks, brother.